الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع السماوات والأرض ولا يحط حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم تدعون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله ومن سلم وعمل صالحا وقال إني مسلم من المسلمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O God our Father, Creator of heaven and earth, look upon us this morning with compassion as we start this new day. Have mercy upon us for all we have done knowingly and unknowingly. We repent of our sins and ask that you cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Cover us with the blood of Christ and give us renewed strength and inner peace to serve you more dearly. Lord, our going out and our coming in are in your hands as we honor you. Be glorified and magnified in our lives, and may the risen Christ continue to lead us through life's journey today and forevermore. Amen.
Good morning, Mr. Witness. Welcome back to this daily Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and Related Matters. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony, I want to remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you, Madam Chair, over to you.
Good morning, Mr. Batchilly.
Good morning, ma'am.
You're welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Councillor, you may proceed.
Yes, thank you very much. Mr. Batchilly, we were discussing the EU Ostend audit report for the Gambia National Audit Office.
Yeah.
Now, on page 49 of the report, there's an issue with respect to suspected fraudulent payment of festive bonuses. Now, it reads that during the year 2023, we noted an amount of 496,000 was incurred from the project funds as Tobaski and Christmas bonuses to the project team and steering committee. These bonus payments to the project team and steering committee members represent an ineligible and unauthorized use of project funds. These bonuses were not part of the approved budget or project expenditure. Do you recall this?
Yes.
What can you tell us about these festive bonuses?
All what I know about them is the fact that the supervisor from, the coordinator from Austin was aware of these payments and in support of them. With regards to certain work, extra work that was seemingly done by the team.
That was seemingly done.
Yeah.
Seemingly done would suggest that it was not done.
Okay, let me remove it was seemingly done.
All right. Yeah. So it was done?
Yeah, it was done. Work was done.
What work was done?
You recall, I will recall after the expiry of the term of the project team,
Right.
you find out that a lot of work still had to be done towards the completion of the project.
Yes.
So in recognition of that amount of work that was done, so Jonas, the project coordinator resident in Belgium,
Right.
who was here, and then in fact, I think we can even have documentary evidence to show that it was approved by them.
Okay. Where is the evidence?
Well, we can eventually produce it.
Okay. We will need that, number one. And number two, Mr. Batchilly, you don't take instructions from Mr. Jonas in relation to council funds, do you?
No, we don't.
Yes. So you have the ultimate say. Now, was this correct in relation to how project funds are supposed to be paid? You gave yourself loans, you have allowances, and you now have bonuses. Was this correct?
Well, from the point of view of joint agreement,
Right.
maybe yes, but then maybe on the other side, it might not be termed as appropriate. But the fact, like I said, one thing I can say is that the project team left a lot of work when their term expired.
Oh.
That I know a lot about.
That is not the issue here. That is not the issue here. The issue is, does the budget for the project cater for bonuses to be paid?
Well, no.
Good. So this prepayment would have been unlawful, that it would have been contrary to the approved budget.
Yes.
And you as CEO were supposed to authorize expenditure in accordance with budgetary expenses, allocations, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And so if you don't do that, then that would be wrong.
Yeah.
Good. Now, we have several contracts in page 62 that were mismanaged and unfulfilled. One of the contracts is in relation to Jalankolong Construction Company.
Yeah.
Were they registered?
Yeah, they were registered. Yeah.
Do you have the registration certificate for this period? As at the time they were given the contract, because the report is that they were not registered with GPA.
I am afraid but I would think that they had the whatever. They had their registration.
So let's not take anything. Let's try to find out what the evidence is. If they were registered, then there will be a certificate of registration where you presented with such as at the time they were given the contract.
I would not remember, but I know that of recently the issue came up and documentation is available to that effect.
Now, did you follow any procurement process in relation to the award to Jalankolo?
Yes, it was fully compliant with GBB.
What kind of procedure was followed?
It was tender, and there was an evaluation report, and subsequently there was approval.
He will want you to provide us with all the details in relation to procurement process that was followed. They became bankrupt at some point.
Yes.
How can they become bankrupt at some point? Did you not follow the financial regulations in relation to the bank guarantees and all that requirements? The financial guarantees.
I really wish I was in a position to know that this question will come up, because there's a lot of documentation regarding our relationship with Yaloko.
Right.
In terms of the fact that he was paid, if I'm not mistaken, like 40%
Yes.
of the total value of the contract.
Right.
And at some point, he was not able to fulfill it.
Yes.
So we wrote to the GPA
Right.
about the situation.
Yes.
And we had a series of meetings with them. But initially, the GPA was not in favor of the contract being terminated. But then we pressed ahead. And this even involved our legal personnel, because he really had to reimburse the money that he already took from the project. But then, like I say, subsequently,
Boss.
yeah, back.
Who had to reimburse?
He
paid everything.
he did not fulfill his contractual obligations.
So he paid everything that was paid to him.
No, he has not paid everything.
Um, you can note it down, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
You will be certainly coming back for the contract with Jalam and other contracts as well.
Yeah.
68 of the findings in relation to Jabot Construction Company, SM Bio, and GAM Engineering, wherein there appear to be triplicate payments for the same work. The description for Jabot Construction Company is that the payment was for the design of Crab Island Master Plan. It was paid $110,000. And for SM Bio, again, being payment for the design. And for GAM Engineering, again, being payment for the design of Crab Island Master Plan. So I would have 3 payments for one work on different companies.
Okay, I am totally with you because like this is the situation that we fell into when the team was seemingly, because if you could recall at that time, Carvel and the project were just taking off. So at that time, like I said yesterday, these were one of the areas that seemingly they were practicing these so-called programs.
No,
Which we couldn't understand because normally with the GPPA guidelines, you just have to say what do you want from suppliers.
Where are the documents for the prac rules that you were seemingly practicing?
I was coming. What I'm saying here is that, for example, if we were to use the GPPA procurement system,
Right,
it would have been like a request made
right,
for a master plan
Right.
of the covenant,
right,
and then through that you have expression of interest.
right.
Anybody who wants to have a design of the covenant school, you will submit, and then we will choose the best.
Look,
Yeah, but
what did you use? Did you use any procurement process along this way with a GPA or prac rules? Is the answer yes?
the answer is just like yesterday. It seems that like that we are not practicing either. We are not practicing because we don't understand. We are not practicing GPPA.
It's not because you don't understand it, because in fact, not understanding it will suggest that there was an attempt to practice the prac rules. There may be 1 or 2 documentations, but that the issues will not be sufficient enough to meet the requirements for the prac rules. That would be that we have attempted, or we thought we were in line with the prac rules, but then you'll be told that there were extra requirements that were not met. But where you don't have any documentation with respect to the prac rules, then there is no attempt whatsoever to follow any procurement process or method, whether it is the prac rules or the DPA.
Yeah, that's what I'm equally trying to say.
Then we forget prac rules.
It's like
on the prac rules, it will appear there was attempt to follow that.
it's like what we said yesterday. Then none of them was pursued.
It's now coming from you. I put that to you. I tell you that, and you agree with the fact that there was no procurement method or process or rules or regulations that were followed, whether national or international.
I agree.
Good. But how would you pay 3 companies for one work?
Okay, like I say, in practice, if we are to look at our own circumstances, our own procurement mechanisms,
Yes.
that is totally unacceptable.
Yes.
But then, like I say, if when they brought these designs and they came up with their own explanation as to like what they're doing,
Yes.
at that point, that's the reason why I'm saying that we were not, because if you had known about the park rules, we would have been in a position to make like serious interventions or comments, but we didn't know.
See, you should get this audit report, read it overnight, try to be in line with what your responses were. It may be more prudent on your side. But number one, your answer is not the same with what is stated in the audit report. The response from the management is that Based on the explanation from the former project manager, Alfred Gano, 3 consultants were engaged for the designing of a master plan for the Crab Island Rehabilitation Project. And the agreement between the project and the consultants was that all the master plans will be paid for when delivered. All 3 master plans are delivered, were delivered. And the rationale behind this was to bring in different design skills and techniques that would help the project to have the basic requisite structural requirements for the rehabilitation of the existing structures. Is that true, or your answer is true? Which one?
Late counsel, I will have to come in to explain the situation.
Was it now first? Which answer is correct? Yours, as we have it in the for the commission, or the one stated in the report?
No, can you just kindly allow me? I want to make an intervention to that effect.
Go ahead.
Because the fact that when that report was being compiled
Right.
by the management as a form of a last draft,
Right.
I was not with the PCC anymore.
Okay.
So I was not part of those that formalized the management
So
response.
now is it wrong? The management response.
I will say now that it's wrong because by the end of the day,
You want to say what?
it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah, I would say it's wrong.
Their answer is wrong.
Yeah.
So what would be the correct answer?
The correct answer is that we proceed with no serious procurement procedure.
So there was good. So there was no agreement with all these 3 consultants to pay each of them for one plan. There was no agreement like that.
No, there was no agreement.
Okay. But then the payment would have been a mistake.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Batchilly, that can't be a mistake. You can't pay someone by mistake of this amount.
No, what I'm just saying here is when they brought forward these payments to be effected, like I said, they came up with their own explanation
Right.
regarding, like how the finalization stages of the Kabbalah was supposed to be developed. So, but like I said, I made the payment. Honestly, I made the payment. But at the end of the day, like I said, I was never comfortable with it because by the end of the day, we are more used to the GPP system, whereby you have an assignment for any future supplier.
Look, Mr. Batchilly, which of the payments, the job construction, the SM Bio, and the camp engineering, which 2 among these 3 were not paid at the time, were not properly?
I would think the ones that were eventually not chosen.
Who?
I think one of them
was chosen.
I cannot remember really.
Okay, give us all the full information because we need to recover this money. The money has to be. Do you agree with us that the money has to be recovered?
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
Exactly. So the money has to be recovered. But the responsibility rests on the finance director and the finance office manager or director, whoever signed these payments, and the CEO to help us to recover this money. Now, the same page 68, they have an issue with respect to Eco Farms ecology construction for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of Crab Island Upper Basic School building. You have lot 1, right? It was signed in 2021.
Yeah.
The contract amount $8,773,201 for a completion period of 8 months. Then you should pay 20%, and 30%, and 30%, and 20%, right? The finance says, however, we noted the duration of the contract was more than 24 months and was still ongoing as at the time of writing this draft audit report. And there were numerous payments made. Do you have the contract that was given to Eco Farms? Was the contract signed?
Yeah, it was signed contract.
Good. Do you have a copy of the contract?
No, not with me.
Will you be able to provide us with a copy and the mode of payment that was done?
Sure.
Now, The total payment was more than the contract sum, $9,180,474. Why was that the case?
You mean for Ecofarm?
Yes, that was a overpayment of $407,273.
Then I believe there are technicalities that we have to bring the documentation along to show what actually happened.
You don't have an explanation for that.
No,
Now,
it's not that now.
yeah, you can note.
But I know that in documentation.
Sit down, Mr. Batchilly. Get us all the payments that were made, get us the contract, and then justify as to why there was an overpayment. Now, how are you managing the fuel allocations for the project?
The fuel was being allocated by the team itself
How?
to the list. We had a fuel list.
To a fuel list.
Yeah.
Okay, can you provide that list, please? Actually, there was an issue of overbilling and invoicing and invoice padding. You know what that means?
Sorry, I don't get you.
An issue of overbilling. Billing.
Yeah.
This is in relation to bills on wheels. It says that the review of the procurement documents and payment records was revealed that the project procured and paid for a total of 60 bins on wheels. Do you recall this?
Yes.
Amounted to 600,000 from Dembas Trading. Now, did you procure the 60 bins?
Yes. We did procure the 50 bills.
60.
60, yes.
Yes.
We
Now, what?
we paid for 60.
Okay. What process was followed in this procurement?
Three is it? No, is it three quotations were sought, and then it was eventually given to Dembas Trading.
3 quotations were sold. Did it
Yes.
pass through the contracts committee?
No.
Okay. So who made the decision for the award to Dembas Trading?
The mayor.
The mayor. Why was that the case?
Because there was a reputation of having very good works done in those areas.
Was that a good procurement practice for the mayor to make the decision?
No.
Why did you allow it as CEO?
It just happened as I allowed it.
It just happened. Now, what were the 60 bins on wheels delivered?
I'm made to believe that he delivered only 10.
Only 10.
Yes.
But then 660 was paid for.
Yes.
And 10 was delivered. Why is that? Do we know why?
10 was delivered.
Do we know why?
But he's saying, the contractor or the supplier is saying that, he already gave the delivery note to the former project coordinator. Who is not,
Ghana.
no. Mamla Ijasi.
Okay.
He said he insisted that he gave him the delivery note.
Right.
But then this individual is not in town now. He's out of this country. He's out of the jurisdiction of this country.
But then 10 was delivered.
But 10 was delivered.
Okay. And the mayor knew about this?
Yeah, she knew about it.
What was her reaction?
Nothing.
Okay. Now, C76. This maybe you will be in a position to explain. There appear to be a duplicate payment of per diem and transportation allowance simultaneously paid. That is the phony retreat you had. You recall the phony retreat?
Yes.
The finding was that Mumuru Kamara, Director of Finance, was paid an amount of $252,000 for being cash impressed for the EU Ostend BC project retreat at Fonyi Pinta. That is from 27th of January to 30th of January 2022. Same period, Mohammed Cham, finance manager, was paid $417,879 for 3 days per diem allowance to the steering committee. Do you need time to explain to the commission these payments, or you can you're in a position to do that now?
No, what happened was that yes, the project contributed the amount that you've just given to us,
Yes.
and then the BCC we decided to pay for the transport costs
Yes.
as a form of contribution, but then the transport cost amounted to not more than like 100,000 by right.
Right.
So there seemingly remains a balance of 150,000
Yes.
that maybe he should be able to retire, or maybe he should retire.
Who should retire?
Munu Kamara himself.
Okay. Will you assist in getting us the necessary vouchers for these two payments?
I'll try my best, but
Yes.
not there anymore.
Yeah, but the honorable chairperson will apply that the former CEO of BCC
Okay.
that that he be given access to the vouchers necessary for the Austin project by the current CEO in relation to these double payments.
Yeah. There are two sets. One will be for the project itself,
Yes.
and the other one for
Yes.
yeah.
Let's just say one payment made to Momodu Kamara and the other made to
Mohammed
Cham in relation to the phony retreat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Repeat, you said Momodu Kamara and who?
Momodu Kamara, the former finance director, and
Yes.
Mohammed Cham,
But finance manager.
Yes.
You requested for the vouchers.
Yes.
Council.
Yes.
Council, the vouchers are in relation to which specific
Yes. Issue.
project activity?
Right. The vouchers are in relation to the EU Austin project for the payment of the cash interest for the payment to Momodo Kamara, the Director of Finance, in relation to per diems, and Mohammed Charma as well for disbursement of the payment of 3 days per diem allowance to the steering committee for 3 days at Abscas Creek Lodge in Forney.
This is my order. That upon application by council, the commission herewith orders the current CEO of BCC to avail the witness, Mr. Mustapha Batchilly, to have access to the vouchers that were prepared in relation to the Foni retreat in the name of Momodu Kamara, the former Director of Finance, and Mohammed Cham, former current finance manager for a 3 days retreat activity. These vouchers should be availed to the Commission on or before the 23rd of May 2025. I therefore make no further orders.
As the Commission pleases. Now, Mr. Batchilly, honorarium was paid, the amount of which is $748,800 for to the various individuals. You have Tawda Jones, Ibu Keta, Katim Ture, Anna Bari, Elijah Jah, Basic Bank, Gambia Limited, Malik Jones, Mohamed Cham, Suleiman Jai, Annette Kamara, of course, Katim Ture, Usman Joe, Mohamed Sako, Buran Kwanjira, Isa Hassau, Samba Babu, Margaret B. Sama, Adam Fai, for the police escort, Inspector Juve, Samba Babu and Suleiman Jaju, Usman Sanya and others. And that's the amount. So do you have the vouchers for this to justify the payment in relation to the budget?
Yes, we'll provide these ones.
Very well. Now, you also paid a consultant, on page 86 of the report, on consultant an amount of $100,000. That was on the 15th of September 2022 for the designing and development of a bill of quantity for the fencing of mile 2 dump site and board walk. Do you recall this?
Yes.
What is justification for this payment?
Can you kindly also allow me to provide the documentation because all these are documented.
Okay.
You have all of them.
No problem. So all the procurement, did you follow procurement process for this one?
Yeah.
Okay, please note it down together. The same process you paid the data of planning and development.
Yeah. Kindly give me the last name that you talked about for the organization.
The last name.
The firm that you just talked about.
The payment was issued to Mbenga Design and Build. Please provide the registration with GPA as well, if any.
Yeah.
But for the same consultancy.
You mentioned cutting to the two.
Yes, for the same consultancy that you paid $100,000 to Benga Design and Build. You had paid Cattle to your director of planning and development $52,000.
Yeah, we'll provide those documentation.
Okay, but why will Cattle to be paid?
Because at some point, if my memory serves me well, at some point there were issues regarding the design.
Yes.
I think that's what it emanated from. But then, at least if I bring the documentation, we'll be able to have a concrete view as to what happened. But I think it was in relationship to that.
No problem, Mr. Batchilly. We have on page 88 an issue on retired imprest. You approve imprest totaling $328,394. Now, for all this imprest too, and for the people issued this imprest,
yes, most of those imprest, documentation is available.
Okay, even though there was no imprest ledger, like you said the last time.
Well, that's for the project. You mean the project?
Do you have an imprest ledger for the project?
Yeah, that's available. All these imprest.
Yeah, but was there an imprest ledger kept for the project? The finance manager said no, there was no imprest ledger. But what is your answer to that?
Well, if he says he did not keep a proper ledger, then mean that was the case.
Okay, please write that down.
For the cash imprest, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
For all imprest issued for the project. Fatima Trade was awarded a contract for the supply of 2,000 waste bins. You recall this?
Yes.
What process was followed?
It was GPPA compliant.
Okay. We need the documentation as well. Now, were the dustbins supplied?
Yes, they were indeed supplied.
Now, what happened after it was supplied? Were they distributed?
Yes, they were distributed.
How were they distributed? And to whom were they distributed?
They were distributed to the residents of Banjo.
How was it done?
I think, if I recall, the team was selected to do the distribution.
Please come again.
Yeah, a team was selected to do the distribution.
Do you have evidence of distribution to show who was given a dustbin?
They will provide them.
Did that exist?
They will provide them.
No, does it exist?
I don't think so.
You will think so. All right. Now, there was a time that this contract that Fatima Trading won by way of being awarded the contract respect to the procurement minister was followed. It was almost terminated from from the side of PCC, correct?
Yeah.
What happened?
If I would recall, I think it has.
Please speak into the microphone.
I think it has to do with a delayance.
Delayance.
Yeah. The stipulated time that the bins were supposed to have been brought in.
Yes.
I think there was a delayance. I think delayance is what prompted, the council to.
The allegations were that you wanted to give this contract to the famous, is it, how do they call it? Keba and Sons. Keba and Sons. Is that true? When I say you, as in the BCC, wanted to give this contract to Keba and Sons. Is that true?
I would say no.
You will say no.
Yeah. The reason being the fact that you had already entered into a contractual agreement.
Yes.
With Fatima Sabali.
But you wanted to terminate it.
Yeah. The reason why we wanted to terminate it is, of course, the fact that the time frame, it took a long time. before the bills eventually came.
Yes, but there was communication from Fatima Jalil with respect to all those communications in relation to why there was delay, and partly that you were at fault.
That was the reason why eventually the contract was not terminated.
Exactly. But the rationale was that there was intention to terminate because it was the preferred candidate was Keban Sons. The preferred supplier was Keban Sons.
I will not go through that line because by the end of the day,
Yes.
I will let you know that when the delays started happening,
Yes.
we were in consultation. I think one of the is it Peter or so they were here,
Right.
and then we had discussions with them
Right.
relating to the delays. But then that encouragement was that since this is a government registered business and moreover headed by a lady,
Yes.
let's just maybe practice a bit patience.
Now, who is Keban Sons?
Kevin Sons is a supplier who gave us bins some time ago in 2019.
Is that supplier related to the mayors?
I learned eventually, yes, that they were related.
When did you learn?
I learned afterwards that they were related
When is afterwards?
after the procurement.
You had several um, awards given to Keban Sons before the dustbins. Correct? Correct? You have had several contracts given to Keban Sons before the dustbins, correct?
Contracts.
Yes. And it's for him to supply anything. There was no contract given to Keban Sons before the dustbins?
A major contract
Not
or
major, just contracts, any form of contract.
okay. One thing maybe I could be specific about is the
Right.
fact that like I told you yesterday,
Right,
there are two tiers of procurement
right,
uh, before at the council.
right,
Those ones that maybe deal with the RFQs
right.
or the single sourcing or things of that nature. Those ones, I as the CEO, am more aware of activities in procurements at the higher level than at that lower level.
The-
Those are procurements that tend to be handled then by the procurement officer.
But that will be not in line with law. There should be a contracts committee. There should be review of procurement activities. Even if you are to um, give the procurement unit the powers to conduct minor procurements, there should be reporting mechanisms. That's what the law says. That we should have minutes of contract committee meetings in relation to every procurement. Because at the end of the day, we need to know where every dollar is going.
I agree.
Exactly. So that when to me, as far as I'm concerned, there's no major and minor procurement. I understand what you mean, but the money is money. If you misuse or mismanage $10 every single minute, it eventually turns to be huge amounts of sums of money.
No, I'm just trying to give you what was
I understand.
the status quo here.
Fatima, not Fatima, Keba and Sons, you learned subsequently that he's related to the mayor.
Yes.
How did you learn it?
So
From the grapevine.
very fine.
Where's the grapevine?
Right. Anyway, I think what I could say is that afterwards, I knew that he was staying with the mayor.
He was staying with the mayor.
Yeah, we were staying in the same house
Okay.
or compound or whatever. And then eventually, I got to learn that they were a long time, like family. They had
They've lived together for so many years.
family ties and connections.
Yes.
Yes.
They've been lived together for so many years. When we review Keba and Sons, you will realize that he was not qualified for the amount of money he was paid for. That about is it $13,800,000 for the supply of the 3,000 dustbins.
Yes, they tell
Yes.
us.
Had no prior experience in this. But he was awarded a contract. Was he favored?
I would say that in the
Yes.
well, like I say, I'm coming with my online maybe then with
We haven't gotten to that yet.
because
You haven't gotten to kebabs. It was only triggered by the issue of Fatima trading. But when you see the documents, of course, it will help you recall. Kebab Amson had enjoyed a special favor in procurement in council. That's a fact because of the relationship with the mayors.
no, I'm not denying because when I explained to you
Yes.
that procurement based on the two-tier system, maybe to request for quotations or single sourcing for certain material that the office used to need. I will not deny that if it happens, definitely.
But you don't know anything about that.
Pardon?
You don't know anything about that.
Can I get your question right?
You don't know anything about that.
What I just explained?
About the favoring of Kebansons because of course the mayor wants it. Not that you want it, but the mayor wants it.
No, like I say, if maybe materials were purchased for the office, for example, uh, I would not at my level be able to know unless, like what you said, if we were to be making a constant review of the activities that happen, maybe.
He sold unit price for a dustbin in 2019 for about $4,000. Is that a realistic price for a dustbin of that sort? We buy it every day. I bought one in 2025 around January for $2,200.
Okay, me, lead counsel as an individual or even head of the contracts committee.
Yes.
I don't have a lot of knowledge about this, but I think what the issue here was the price was communicated through the bid document to GBP.
Yes.
So, like, since let me restrict it to myself, since I am not an expert, but then I am managing the affairs of the contract committee, and one of the requirements of GBPA is first to send them like a bid document, and then in that bid document, now all these factors, are considered. They knew the price, GBPA knew the price, everything was there. So if they respond back and say they approve the adoption of the bid document,
Yeah.
then I think professionally they were the ones who should have guided us and told us that look, don't you think maybe this price is a bit too high for a bid? That is what I was really thinking could have been the case. That could have guided us better. But they accepted it. And then subsequently adopted the price.
We will come back to Cape Armstrong's. Maybe you'll understand why Cape Armstrong is a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, we will do that. Um, the hiring of lawyers, the hiring of lawyers. Whose councils retained lawyer or legal consultant? Councils retained lawyer or legal consultant. Go ahead, you can answer.
Even our present agreement with the lawyer. Okay, we have a lawyer partnership presently. We had.
Okay, please tell us.
Yes. And she's Sasopsela.
How was Zasun Silap contracted?
She was headhunted
By
by the mayor.
why was that the case?
That has been the tradition in council.
That has been
The tradition.
in council. What has been the judgment council?
Every mayor who comes in would bring his own lawyer or her lawyer.
Her lawyer. And that would not be correct.
Correct?
Because is it the lawyer for the mayor or the lawyer for The council.
No, the council. The lawyer will serve the council whenever they hire. They serve the council.
So, but that would not be correct, of course. Like I said, there's a process to hire consultants, right? In the Procurement Act or regulation, there should be a request for proposals. You should have a minimum of 3 proposals so that you have value for money, not to bring your friend of a lawyer in the council and you have every year payment when you can have the best. That's not the practice. Is that not the case?
Yes,
That's not in line with procurement.
in theory, but then in practice,
Yes.
legal issues. I've seen. My experience gives me over the period that I've served with council.
Right.
Legal matters is like matters that, for example, I personally I'm not because I'm not really afraid in the sense that I look at taxation, for example.
You look at what?
If I look at taxation, like within the jurisdiction of Banjul,
Yes.
I remember on several occasions we tried to get the private lawyers who practice
Right.
within the vicinity of Banjul,
Right.
but it's so difficult. They give you some quotations, some
Right.
legal quotations that
Right.
they are not supposed to pay.
Right.
So that made it a bit precarious. But then
The question is it right for the mayor or the mayoress, the case is, to decide to come with her own lawyer? I'm not talking about what the practice is.
I say no. Because by the end of the day,
Yes.
like I say, this commission is meant to help us subsequently afterwards to make sure that, like you say, we're getting value for money. Yes, it is very easy. For example, if I want to hire somebody based on my personal relationships with you, but then the reality is
Yes.
that it should not be done that way.
Exactly.
It should be something that's kind of diversified.
Exactly. And the did you put that to the mayors? That is not the usual way.
No, I will not lie. I've never done that. If suggestions are brought in for a lieutenant, legal lieutenant to be hired, I have to be honest. I just used to comply.
Is that the reason why you just comply?
Because, like I say, the legal affairs, they are affairs that I've never understood.
Or is it that you think that you don't want to have a clash with the mayors in relation to
No,
that?
no. Let counsel. I am somebody who's not scared of anybody. But one has to be very honest to yourself.
Right.
I, on many occasions, I've been victimized because of standing for something. Maybe I don't know whether
From 2018? Have you been victimized from 2018?
because
By who?
by starting from the ministry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did the ministry victimize you?
In the sense that, like when certain decisions are made at my level,
Yes.
if it goes to them,
Yes.
they encourage its opposite whatever
Okay. And
viewpoints. So that being the case, that really slowed me down at times.
bring specific issues. If you go back, you can come up with very specific issues in relation to what you have gone through on the side of the ministry. That's number one. And we can discuss that if it is relevant to the work of the commission. And the second part is who else victimized you?
I'm not I'm not I'm not I'm not trying to use this venue as a way of
No, Master Bachar, it's your right.
getting so
Mr. Bachar, it's your right.
regretment over what happened. What I'm just saying is I am saying this in relationship to this commission.
I understand that.
Because I have the belief that post the post commission local government inquiry, some of these things would allow another CEO to say that okay, if imposition is being made with regards to hiring somebody to do this and this and this, that particular CEO can say no. Because I'm telling you, when I was in Mansa Congo, the impact has started being felt.
Yes.
When I was at Mansa Conco, one of the ladies in the finance office, she was given an assignment
Right.
by, I think, the finance manager.
Yes.
She said no. So the finance manager turned around and said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, I will not carry out what you want me to do because we are seeing from the commission what happened." That's very possible.
If it is wrong, it should not be carried out. You see, even if you think it is wrong,
No, but
no, I'm in line with you.
sir,
I am saying,
just one thing. You can easily sit and say that,
me?
or anybody else, but the reality on the ground is not the same.
Okay, what is the reality on the ground?
The reality on the ground is that in most cases, those who are at the lower end of the ladder,
Right.
have ultimately at times no ways of expressing their disagreement.
That's true. And that the political branch seems to be very powerful too.
And then the next thing, the next thing that will happen, for example, you are taking over there, you are reported.
Okay.
And then if you are reported, this is another thing.
Okay. And the political branch seems to be very powerful too. The administrative branch of the area council seem to probably, for the most part, dance to the tune of the politicians.
105%. 105%.
But that should not be the case.
But that's the case.
Now, the another law office was also higher than the mayor chambers.
Yes.
And what process was followed? Was there any procurement process followed?
With regards to which specific matter?
For
Because
the recovery of license, one is with NAWEC as well. For the agreement with that demand is that you pay about 19. Is it 19%?
19%, yeah.
Yes, 19%. But disregarding the deposit for now, what process was followed in also hiring Dandemayo chambers?
It's hunting to Modu Kama.
Murukamara brought Dandemayo chambers.
No, he recommended.
Murukamara recommended Dandemayo chambers.
Yeah, because based on his experience at Social Security.
Murukamara said the mayor recommended Dandemayo chambers.
No, I don't agree to that.
You doubt.
I don't agree to that.
How did Murukamara recommend
Because he came to me
Yes.
and discussed with me the need to recover from Social Security,
Yes.
approximately getting to about $400 million
Yes.
based on the non-payment of certain taxes for a long period of time. And he convinced me.
Did you have a meeting with the mayor?
Yeah, when eventually Mr. Kamara was invited to come, the mayor called Mr. Kamara,
Yes.
Lamin Kamara.
Yes.
He had to come to the meeting.
Yes.
So when he explained the profile that he had with LS Kamara and Social Security,
Yes.
I bought the idea. So I asked him that if he could have it kind of a meeting, myself, himself, and the mayor. So at that juncture, the mayor said she knew Lamin Kamara.
Of course.
And then eventually called.
Everyone knows Lamin Kamara.
Yeah, called him.
Yes. But the issue here is not the person of Lamin Kamara or any other lawyer. The issue is the process.
The process, yeah.
The process. You paid 19% to the mayor chambers. Was that the best that you can get in the country from legal offices?
You cannot be sure whether it was the best.
Exactly. So probably there's a high chance you can get less than that. Some lawyers will take 3%.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm a lawyer. This one I can speak about authoritatively. Some lawyers will charge you 3%. Some will charge you 5%. Some will go 10%. Some can charge you 50%. The idea is that you can always have a good bargain for an equal service or even more. Better service.
Total agreement.
Is that not the case?
Total agreement.
Yeah, so again, Why did you succumb to that? As from the mayor side, if you are saying this is from Mamadou Kamara, I wouldn't understand that. If you said it is from the mayor's instructions, I may want to understand that it is wrong, but you may have to succumb to pressure. But what is the pressure from Mamadou Kamara, your your immediate junior?
No, in this case, there was no pressure. He was able to convince me that when he was at Social Security,
Yes,
and based on the fact that, he was talking about leading such a huge
right,
from every form of tech areas.
right.
That is what convinced me.
Yes, to get him, you can be convinced, but then the one will convince you not to follow procedure.
I'm not saying it's a justification for
So
it.
you understand?
I'm just giving a build up of what happened.
Yes, I now want to know when you are convinced, anybody may be convinced, of course, that this one person can do the job, this person can do the job.
Yeah.
No question about that. The question now is, now that you have convinced yourself that Mr. X, Y, and Z can do the job, now you have to follow procedure. Law says now follow procedure. Why was procedure not followed?
Yeah, because we're looking at the potentials of illegal representation, allowing us to free up some of our resources that were tied up.
No,
I think that is what was at the back of
so but you
the mind.
for 23 years and counting.
Yeah, that's the reason why I also came up with that idea, because
You can't
I
complain.
have
Yeah,
I have experience of following up monies that are owed
no,
by.
you can't come up with an idea that's unlawful. You see, you can't come up with an idea that is unlawful. That is the issue.
What I'm just trying to say here is what made me to be carried away
Yes,
was the fact that, like I said, legal representatives,
yes,
I've had experiences of some of them
yes.
really not being able to help us free up most of our
They,
resources.
they are
But then,
others that can't
yeah,
meet up with the necessary skill to treat accident disease.
yeah. So
The profession has that. That is why you needed to go for the best in the, and there's a laid down procedure to aid you in trying to have the best at the most available price.
I agree. State council. I'm not disputing that at all.
Yes. So see the issue, Mr. Batchilly, is for those payments that you would have sanctioned together with the mayors and the finance director, they would not have been lawful payments to the mayoral chambers. The same with Sason Silla, it would not have been a lawful payment on the side of council for those that were making this decision, because then it is a total departure. The law says you must follow the law in relation to XYZ. And then if there's a departure, it would not have been lawful. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Consultants. But before that, do you know whether there was any prior relationship between Sasum Silla and the mayor?
I'm not really the personal relations.
Have you had as a personal relationship, family ties?
Yeah, I have
What did you hear?
that they're related,
What kind of relationship? They're cousins?
just related.
Just later.
Yeah,
Okay. And did you have the information prior to the agreement with Sasum, or during the agreement with Sasum, or after the agreement with Sasum?
I had it during the agreement.
During the
Yeah.
the pendency of the agreement with Sasum,
Yes.
where they signed the agreement and now it is been executed,
Yes.
and then you realize that they are related.
Yes.
Okay. Did you raise that with the mayor? It's a conflict of interest.
No,
You didn't raise that. Why?
I just failed to do it.
You just failed to do it.
Yeah.
Lamin Kamara of council. Do you know whether there's any form of relationship with the mayor? Any form of relationship?
No, but there, I'm not too sure.
Mayor told you, I got it from Lamin Kamara.
No.
You said it. Yeah, you said the mayor said that he or she knew the council lawyer.
That is to call him to come.
Yes.
To come to the meeting.
Yeah.
He proposed with it.
Yes.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is how interconnected they are, I might not know.
You might not know.
Yes. Maybe they know each other casually. It's possible.
It's very possible. Council's advisors. You've had advisors from 2018?
Yes.
How many advisors?
Even before 2018.
Okay, now we're concerned with from 2018. That's the mandate. I would be very interested before 2018, but well, the mandate starts, it begins in 2018 moving forward.
Okay.
That is why. So 2018 moving forward, how many advisors?
We had one since 2018.
Who is the advisor?
That's Makuma Sane.
Who is Makuma Sane? Probably should be the question.
Makuma Sane is the advisor to council.
How did Makuma Sane become the advisor?
He was appointed in 2018 or 19. 2018 or 19. Well, I guess 2018.
How was Makuma Sane?
Right.
Yes, how was Makuma Sane appointed?
He was appointed on a contractual basis.
How? What led to the appointment of Makuma Sane as an advisor?
He was brought in by the mayor.
How did the mayor bring Makuma Sane
as one of the people that were with her during the
campaign?
Yes.
How did you negotiate the salary? Sign Makuma Sane.
I cannot recall this very easily.
Fine.
I cannot recall this very easily.
Yes.
I cannot recall that very easily.
Mr. Secretary, can you please help with Mr. Kamal regarding the file of Makuma Sane, the exhibit tender? Mr. Kamal. Yes. They were in the same campaign team. And so he was brought in by the mayor in 2018. What were his qualifications?
All what I know is that he was we were in several states together.
You and
Me and him.
You also knew him before.
Oh yeah, we were in several states, yeah. Okay. From 1 to Form 5.
Okay.
We were in the same class.
Right.
And after I left for the UK.
Right.
And then I think he worked for some time with the audit.
He was an audit trainee. He had no qualifications.
No, I just said he worked.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't know about his qualifications.
Okay.
But I knew that he was with the audit department after some time went to Europe.
Yes. And Mr. Sane, when he was appointed as advisor, did you check his qualifications?
No, I did not.
Why?
It just did not occur to me.
But why would it not occur to you?
But that is what happened when it cancelled.
How was this?
I cannot be trying to come up with a new answer now.
Okay. How was this remuneration decided?
That is what I'm not too sure of because it's quite a long time there.
Who decided what to pay to Makuma Sane? Did the mayor or you?
That has escaped my mind.
How can we have the information? You did not bring him in, so you wouldn't be in the position to decide how much he get paid. It will only come from the mayor because she brought him in. You cannot decide how much he is paid.
But if I recall having decided it, I would say it. If I had recalled deciding it, I would say it.
I'm saying that it wouldn't make sense for you to decide how much Mr. Sane would be paid because you did not bring him in at all.
Yeah, but
he was imposed on you. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, but remember, yes, in a way. But remember, I think if I am not mistaken, we had made a comparison because before this council came in, before this council came in 2018,
right,
there was a previous advisor.
There was a
previous advisor to council.
Okay.
He was a former deputy permanent secretary at the Ministry of Local Government.
Right.
A gentleman by the name LFS Mani.
By the name?
LFS Mani.
LFS Mani.
Yeah.
Yes. And the deputy permanent secretary.
Yeah. But he retired at the
Yes. Deputy permanent secretary will have a certain degree, reasonable degree of acceptable degree of education. Yeah. Correct?
Yeah.
So can we get the exhibit for Makumasana? Yes, a certain degree of education. If you decide to did that
Yes, Mr. Batchilly,
Yes.
you recall that we are constrained to deal with issues that are from 2018. Having advices previously, yes, it may interest us to know, but it cannot have any consequence in our evidence. So what we want to know is effective from 2018 to 2023. All right?
Okay, ma.
Thank you.
We'll stick myself to that.
Okay. Council, you may proceed.
yes. Now now you did that comparison. So Sane's experience and educational background in relation to filling the position of an advisory role. What can you tell us?
Can repeat the
Repeat.
question? Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Sane's educational background
Yeah.
and experience in relation to filling, occupying the advisory role. What can you tell us about that? Did he meet up with the criteria?
You mean the post pre-employment?
Yes,
Post-employment.
pre-employment.
No, with the pre-employment aspect, I do agree with you that
100%.
yeah, I do agree with you.
Yeah. So Mr. Sane should not have been employed as an advisor.
Yes,
Okay. So he was imposed on you
yes,
by the mayor.
yes.
Now, does the council have a strategic plan from 2018?
Yeah.
Please provide a strategic plan. Establishment register,
Yes,
fixed asset register,
yes. Can I kindly ask a question?
yes.
With regards to the establishment register, is it based on that of 2018? On
Is it?
based on 2018 upwards?
No, with respect to the asset register, you asked it, correct?
No, I mean the establishment. You know, you mentioned the establishment register.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking.
Yes, from 2018.
As of 2018 or from 2018 up to date?
From 2018 up to date. Mr. Bacheli,
Yes.
I just have with me the exhibit relation to Makumasani. He had answered these questions. He had answered the questions with utmost honesty for the ones I will be asking you. That is the consultancy agreement on advisory services to the Lord Mayor and Bangalore City Council. Is the exhibit is LTC BCC/MS/002. In this, in the introductory part, to whom Makumasani is, it states that this is a contract for consultancy between Banjul City Council and Mr. Makomba Sane, advisor for the provision of unique, full-time, qualified professional and technical competencies and skills latent in the council to guide, adequately advise the Lord Mayor of Banjul. This description would not be correct for Makomba Sane.
In fact, let me be very specific here and also take up responsibility because when it is Molu Kamala who drafted that or whatever, so definitely I should have seen that the aspect relating to a consultancy
Yes.
could could have been a very disastrous thing because right now it's giving somebody who was there, another perspective of what this is all about. And he was not a consultant.
Cannot be a consultant. He should not be nowhere near this office.
Consultancy.
Mr. Kasane should not be anywhere near this office. Really, is disheartening, to be honest. You see, Mr. Batchilly, if we have you as CEO, based on your academic qualification, no one can question that. I am not saying that because I like to face Mr. Batchilly. I'm saying that because it's the truth. Is that not the case?
Yes.
You and your academic qualifications. Now, your reputation as a CEO is a different set altogether. One may favor you, one may think that you are perhaps the best CEO, even as things were. We may have a different opinion, but your academic qualification cannot be questioned. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But we get to have the right people in the right places. Mr. Sane cannot and should not be anywhere near this role. And it was just admission from one of the witnesses that he was just employed by way of theological, by way of just trying to have a job for him because he was part of the campaign team. And our country, our institutions cannot be run like this. Is that not the case?
Yeah, I totally support.
Exactly. The second paragraph, I will just read and then we move on. It says, Mr. Sane, as in bracket advisor, on the other hand, is a seasoned and experienced with both national and international exposure. It's an insult. Total misrepresentation, correct?
Correct.
He is well experienced in social management skills. You know, when we asked Sane what he does in council, you know what he said? When they have problems, when staffs are having problems, he will be the one to come and sort that out. Really? You think that's how we should reduce our institutions to that level? You have the CEO as the administrative head. Correct? There are committees for that. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, there are committees to do that. The establishment committee is meant just for that purpose, correct?
Yeah.
Its chief executive should be seasoned enough to also, even if matters that are not forwarded to the establishment committee, to play that role. And you have someone being paid $28,000 just to be looking at, fishing out two people who have problems and they are quarreling, and he will sit them down and be the Khalifa, be the elder person and talk, and they will pay that amount. If they don't have a job, let them not have a job. Simple. As simple as that. In moving forward in this country, we have to be honest to each other. The same way you have been honest here to the commissioners, but we have to be honest to each other. We have to be straightforward. We have to be realistic. Because this country is us, all of us, Mr. Batchilly. And no one is more Gambian than the other. That's the reality. It's the hard fact. Now, well, we spoke about the remuneration. You had said you cannot, from where you are sitting, come up with answers in relation to why he was paid that amount, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for Makuba Sane, he was also given other roles as well. He was the is it the license overseer? Overseeing the license department?
No, markets.
Market.
Yeah.
Or market overseer.
Markets overseas.
But he was working with
At some point, he also worked with the
license manager.
license manager.
This is it. Who was license manager?
Mr. Dow.
Mr. Ndao, Pamudu Ndao.
Yes.
Yes. So what experience does he have? He was issuing Mr. Sane was issuing invoices. At one point, when Modu Kamara had an issue, Mr. Sane was issuing invoices. Mr. Modu Kamara tendered, do we have Modu Kamara's exhibit in relation to the invoices that were issued? Mr. Kamara said invoices were issued without him signing for it. And it was done by Makuba Sane together with Pamudu Ndao. Was that proper?
Can I be given the opportunity to see because
Yes, the registrar is looking for it. Yes,
yeah,
I clearly see it.
let me come back initially.
Yes.
Like I said,
Yes.
now that I'm here,
Right.
I'm not going to defend anybody.
Absolutely.
But at the same time,
Yes.
I think you also allow me or afford me the possibility of saying some things that I have seen with my eyes,
Yes.
and I'm convinced that they are happening.
Yes.
So I think I want to first of all see because I come back to the issue of the employment.
Yes.
Yeah, there I agree with you
Yes.
in terms of qualifications wise,
Yes.
and I totally agree with you.
Right.
No dispute.
Right.
But then we look at post employment
Yes.
profile.
Yes.
I would want to look at that, but then I also want to have the possibility of seeing what Modu Kamara was saying
Yes.
vis-a-vis some of the things that have also happened on the ground that he has not reported.
Okay. We will find it and give it to you. But when you say post employment,
Yeah.
what do you want to say about the post employment of Makumasa?
Okay. First of all, like when the new council came in,
Yes.
there was a vision to uh, make an exercise at the Albert Market,
Yes.
and he was also the overseer, working with the market manager.
Yes.
And then we saw the result,
Yes.
the outcome.
What is the result?
The revenue collection outcome was positive
How positive?
in the sense that like the collected amounts which were never collected before at the
What
market.
is that because of his intervention?
No, I'm not saying just because of he intervened, but as being part of the team. I will not give him the credit alone. I will give it to the whole team.
You give to the whole team. No, you give to yourself. I think who came up with the idea is not you.
I was instrumental in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we give the devil it's due. That's the issue. So Makumba Sane's presence did not elevate the revenue. It is the idea of having a mechanism to detect and collect revenue that raised the revenue. Anybody would have gone with those people and still have raised the revenue. Is that not the case?
Could be, but at the same time, you also have to look at the fact that those revenue levels have never been raised by the ones who were previously there before mandated to do the collection.
Listen,
That's why I say I want to give the credit to everybody who was part of the team.
it's a good way
So I
of
cannot exclude him.
anybody that becomes part of any team, no matter what, even if you are just following to make sure people are safe, you have contributed. Even if you are the security person, you have contributed.
Yes.
The work of the commission here, the security is very paramount.
Yeah, very.
Is that not the case?
Yes.
You can't give the credit to the commissioners alone, or the lawyers, or the registrar, or the interpreter. Everybody is inclusive. Exactly. That's not what we ask. Now, if I am to ask you, what specific new ideas, what specific contribution did Makumbasane bring on the table? You will not be able to tell.
I've started with one.
Which one? Which one?
With regards to the market overseas.
What did he do? So that's what I'm saying. What did he do?
He was part
It
of
was unique.
He was part of the team.
Part of the team is his
Yes.
specialty. His
No.
specialty was being part of the team.
No, that's not a specialty.
So what was his specialty in this?
The specialty was that he was I'm not talking about the specialty issue. I'm just saying that he was part of the team
That's what I'm saying. His contribution was he was part of the team.
within the collection process.
My point is his contribution was that he was part of the team.
Yeah. And then secondly, with regards to the street lightening of Banjo.
Yes.
He played.
No, let's exhaust this. If anyone was part of the team, it would still be the same.
I beg your pardon.
Would you have failed without Makubazane?
Not necessarily he would have failed without him.
That's the issue. That's the issue. So we cannot try to create successes for people where it does not exist. Trying to get Makubasane to be a bit relevant when he is very relevant. Mr. Makubasane is very similar to KMC. We had KMC Lankaram. You see, the name is even they even memorized Lankaram also. It's Lankaram, not Lankaram, not Lankaram. Kanjura Kani. You see, Kanjura Kani. You know Kanjura Kani?
I heard about it.
What did you hear about Kanjura?
That things were prominent, with the people that he worked with.
Yes, going to KMC, terrorizing everyone. The same profile with Makumba Sane. Terrorizing everybody in KMC, being the de facto leader, the boss, the iron hand, the secret powerful hand that never exists. No one elected you. You are very unqualified, but yes, still because of connections of whatsoever kind, you found yourself in the system. And for educated people who are there, employed duly and properly, cannot do their job because you have one Karunjula Kanya who seems to be so powerful than even the people that are elected and appointed. This Kanjura Kanye and Makumba Sane are one and the same. You should flush them out of our system. You agree with that?
Council, I beg to differ.
What do you differ from?
Because the fact that I know him, and
You know who?
I know him personally.
You know who?
I know Makumba.
So you don't agree he's like Kanjura Kanye. So you're afraid Kanjura Kanye worse than Makumba Sane. The KFC will not agree to this.
No, because there are two aspects I'm looking at.
Yes.
I'm looking at the existing relationship with the people that he worked with.
Yes.
During the course of time.
Yes.
And some of the endeavors that he was in. I look at those things.
Mr. Batchilly.
Like I say,
Mr. Batchilly.
No, let me learn.
You know I always allow you to laugh.
Yeah.
You and I know that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. You know it clearly. Does Mr. Makumba Sane have the qualification and the proven experience in revenue collection?
Like I said, you 100% in that aspect. I'm not intending to take you back to where we came from. What I'm just saying here is,
Yes.
I agree about the mode of employment.
Yes. Not only the mode.
And also the suitability.
Yes.
In terms of qualification.
Exactly.
But I'm also saying
as well.
Yeah, I'm also saying that I have seen that is to some extent got very good successes for council operations.
Bring it on. Let's see what Makumba Sane himself had done, what he had initiated. Tell us, give us facts.
That's what I'm telling you.
He initiated the revenue collection team.
No, not just the revenue collection team. Talking about
the lightening of Banjul.
Lightening of Banjul.
What was his role?
Waste management.
What was in lightening of Banjul?
The lightening of Banjul, he was in all the streets where the lights were being fixed.
And no one can do that?
Someone else can do that, of course. And then
is that a special skill?
Selling meals to the from his home to the people that were doing the installation.
Are you sitting here, national television, saying Makumba Sane was present in that exercise and serving meals? Is that what he's paid for? Do we really want to do that?
No, that's not what he's paid.
Is that a special skill?
No, that's not a special skill.
So he brings no interest in business.
It's not a special skill.
Anybody else can do that. Correct?
No, it's not a special skill. I'm not saying from that perspective.
So maintain what you were saying.
You cannot also write off 100%.
120%
of what he contributed.
150%.
You understand?
You see, if
after having agreed with you with regards to the first previous issues.
So that's saying, there's a saying, Mr. Batchilly, that you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. With Makumba Sane, it's like things fall apart. The center cannot hold. If you are doing construction, the foundation is not good, nothing else matters. Correct? Nothing else matters. If you are doing construction in your home, you focus a lot on foundation, correct?
Sure.
If not, nothing else matters.
Sure.
Live in that house. It will fall on you. It may kill your entire family. Anybody, I mean. So with Makumba Sane, nothing is good about Makumba Sane. Nothing is good about Kanjura Kanye. Nothing. That's why you were struggling to say he was serving meals. He was with them in this streets.
No, not struggling. It's something I saw with my eyes.
Which is not positive.
But if you say if it doesn't fit in your criteria, then also I have no right to convince you.
No. He doesn't even fit in your criteria as well. That's the reality.
Yeah.
You would not have employed Makumasane as advisor any day, anytime if you had your own honest judgment. You would not employ him for that role because no matter how much you like him, you will not. You will think he's not qualified for it.
That's a very high possibility.
That's a fact.
High possibility.
Unless you're corrupt, which I don't think. Unless you're corrupt in that sense, you will want to do the right thing. You're not going to hire Makumasane.
Because I recall even the first one, the previous one, I was not totally comfortable with it, but I said, okay, since it came from the ministry, let me just respect it.
Do you have that? Oh, did I hear you say it came from the ministry?
Not on this occasion.
Okay. Do you have? Did you create companies when you were there as CEO?
I mean,
Does the BCC have any companies or
private,
shares in the private companies or shares in any company?
not that I can remember.
You can't remember. Can you find out and come back to us and tell us?
Okay, I'll confirm. But I just don't remember. I don't think so.
Yeah, so please find it out. Salary increment or allowance has been increased? Where salaries increased during your time?
Yes.
Please tell us.
Yeah, I remember salaries being increased.
Come again. How many times were the salaries increased?
I am not too sure.
Will you be able to give us adequate, sufficient information when you come back? They should do the period the salaries were increased and the circumstances and the procedures that you followed.
Okay.
Mr. Batchilly, you can also kindly provide us with information on allowances.
Okay.
Because we have had evidence laid before us
Okay.
as to allowances that we have paid to you,
Okay.
the finance director and others, that is senior management,
Okay.
and was reviewed subsequently.
Okay.
So we would want to see what allowances have been paid from 2018
Okay.
to 2023.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Batchilly,
Yes, sir.
I have seen the trade license invoices by issue by Mr. Sane and Mr. And the license manager, Pamela now. And this issue was raised by the director of finance, being the custodian of the revenues of council. Is exhibit MC in bracket 1/018. Have you seen those invoices?
I've seen the invoices, yeah.
These were invoices that were issued by Mkumasani. When we checked Mkumasani's accounts, there were huge financial transactions, Mr. Batchilly. He has the cost to deposit a lot of money that his salary cannot back up, even if he's not spending a dollar from his salary.
Council,
Yes.
can you allow me to eventually
Look into this.
find this and then eventually give feedback on this?
No problem.
Council, I don't
Yes.
I don't get that
Part.
part, yes.
Okay. The witness.
Because sorry, because what he requested for
Yes.
was to be able to clarify what the director of finance have said,
Right.
that he wanted to be upfront on the issues. And if I could recall,
Yes.
the Director of Finance wrote to him
Yes.
with respect to uh, um, receipt books being produced illegally
Yes.
by the acting trade license manager,
Yes.
Mr. Momo Dao.
Absolutely.
And he drew the attention of Mr. Batchilly
Yes.
in that particular memo. Is that not the document?
Yes. Absolutely.
Now, what is his issue?
He is saying that he wants to just verify these invoices that I have shown him. You haven't come to the letter yet. Honorable Chairperson is very right in relation to the letter. Yes.
Then you should read the letter.
Yes. Mr.
So that by the time he comes back to verify the voucher,
yes,
we know the basis upon which he will be verifying the voucher.
Absolutely. Honorable Chair, we agree. So, Mr. Batchilly, let me draw your attention to the letter. The chairman has already drawn our attention to this letter. Is the memo that I had, the exhibit that I had read to you, MC in bracket, that's Momodu Camera in bracket 1, /018. The Director of Finance alleged that he wrote to you, but we had the letter signed dated the 10th of January 2024. It reads, revenue suppression, illegal invoicing, and lack of adherence to the Local Government Act and Financial and Accounting Manual for Local Government and Authorities 2009. It has been brought to my attention as Director of Finance that you, Mr. Pablo, acting trade license manager and advisor to Council Mr. Makuma Sane, have legally acquired invoice books to clandestinely start invoicing without following due process and processes, and also faulting my proposed the trade license payment chain life cycle, the TLPCLC procedures that will make sure that the revenue leakages, revenue suppression, and revenue consolidation are stopped and enhanced in 2024. Are you following, sir?
Very well.
Now, this will go a long way in solving all our financial woes moving forward. Remember, since I assumed this position, I am still struggling to settle down and do my job independently as mandated by the Local Government Act and its attendant legislations. It is also worthy to know that the office of the CEO is also an accomplice as these circulated invoices are bearing his stamp. The gravity of your actions are there as you have broken the law with your accomplices in the process. A matter I put the various stakeholders for their actions and redress. The issues surrounding your actions are protracted, complicated, and far-reaching, meaning you are able to acquire invoice books, receipts, other revenue books without approval and in the know of the Director of Finance and Head of Finance, who is your immediate supervisor. This poses the threat that you are also in charge of revenue earning books that is not registered and not in the control and in know of that of finance who is supposed to be the custodian of these books as per financial and accounting manual for local government authorities 2009. It says section and subsections 402, 405, and 406. You as acting trade license manager should not get directives and supervisory rules and orders from anywhere and anybody apart from the Director of Finance as enshrined in the Financial and Accounting Manual for Local Government Authorities. In 2009, Authority 2009, Section 406, subsection 8 and 9. Among others, in the Act are clear for you to see. You are breaking the law as your actions to acquire revenue and books not under the custody of the Director of Finance. It's a breach of the Act. And I hope we will get to the root causes and its compounding negative consequences on our council and its operations. I will advise you to desist from these exercises as soon as possible until you are given proper revenue earning books and with the right protocols followed. The Director of Finance is your immediate supervisor and should approve what you do and what system is in place in 2024 to do the needful in the revenue collection as in the trade license payment chain life cycle. I have already copied to you my last memo of our proposed and planned system this year. is as follows. Step 1, registration of all businesses and vendors and orders. 2, assessment of all businesses and vendors and orders. 3, invoicing. And the 4th step is sending collectors into the field. I am of the conviction and commitment as Director of Finance to work with all departments and units in Council for the attainment of these strategies, which will yield desired results for Banjul City Council for better revenue mobilization enhancement. Once again, please, this is from your actions as acting trade license manager, and wait for approval and order to proceed with our department's planned system of operation this year. This is an institution working on laws and a country of laws, and please don't do things that will break the law and bring the department and the institution into disrepute. Now, this was addressed to you.
And I think we're questions now to react to it.
Yes.
Good, thank you very much. Lead Council, this matter stemmed from 2023. In 2023, we had just terminated is it 2022? Yes, 2022. We had
Yes.
15 July. By then we had terminated the contract we had with a company called Sabe.
Yes.
And the reason why we terminated our contract with Sabe was that this same Director of Finance, former Director of Finance, Mondo Kamara, introduced Sabe to the General Council
Yes.
when the Deputy Mayor was acting as the Mayor.
Yes.
And he convinced the Council that these people would have been in a position to help us to raise our revenue.
Yes.
So Council subsequently agreed that we enter into a contract with them.
Right.
And the basis of the contract was that they would have been in a position to help us to locate revenue from sources that are not within the BCC's trade license register.
Yes.
I just give an example. For example, some stores, because in the city of Banjul, a lot of stores, are coming up,
Right.
and at times at remote areas
Correct.
that were not captured by the council.
Right.
So the exercise by Sabel would have been in a position to allow us to have access to such similar business outlets.
Yes.
For example, tapping into what potentially GRA has.
Yes.
You know how GRA gets that
Yes.
tax collection. So we agreed. But getting to the latter part, we discovered that this company was actually collecting from our sources, our existing sources.
Right.
So as a management, we sat down and decided that we are going to end the contract.
Yes.
Because that did not fit the purpose.
Yes.
This is where we entered into a contract with them.
Right.
So eventually, he wrote to me a memo giving me a summary
Right.
of what was supposedly collected by the company.
Right.
And I think it's very important that we have this as an evidence.
We will. Once I've been signal it is time, perhaps when unless there's another directive, but we will need 10 minutes with Mr. Batchilly after break to conclude with him for part 1. This is just part 1 with Mr. Batchilly. Then we have another witness, but they have been signaled. Okay. Okay, please proceed, Mr. Batchilly. Yes.
Okay, so this was the writing to me, giving me a summary of the profile,
Yes.
the collection profile in terms of the total number of invoices and the monies that were collected.
Right.
So we had this summary.
Right.
Tendered to me, and I tendered to the management committee.
Right.
But what was more evident was the fact that, like I said,
Maybe we have that.
sure, somebody. Yeah, they started encroaching into the council's traditional whatever.
Right.
This I could see did not go down well with Momodu Kamara at all.
Yes.
So subsequently, getting to the end of the year,
Yes.
the minutes and everything are here.
Right.
We started seeing that he slowed down in terms of the revenue collection process.
Right.
Basing on the fact that this could have been a very good avenue for us to engage them again
Right.
for the continuation of their collection.
Right.
But then that was a bit difficult because by the end of the day, we are saying here that these people, instead of giving us the GRA database,
Right.
they are eventually encroaching into our own license domain.
Right.
So we started having problems now with revenue,
Right.
especially with regards to salaries. We were not able to pay that year November and December salaries.
Yes.
Became a big problem. So we had a management meeting. I'll have the meeting, the minutes here, I'll tender them. We had a management meeting. So I said, look, since seemingly I'm not seeing you being very, very active again in terms of your revenue duties.
Yes.
So why don't we now have a task force, reach out here, and then we go to the corporate clients and we try to recoup as much money as possible to pay salaries. Because the issue, the lack of payment of salaries were really an issue.
Right.
And it was illegal.
Right.
So based on that, I say, okay, now the best thing you do is give me some of these big companies, then I'll go and pursue it with the team. We choose a team or I do myself.
Right.
Because I could see that it was so difficult after having a non-payment of 2 months. Naturally, some were not very inclined to come with me. So I went to Rajwani, EMK stores. He was supposed, as the list dictated, he was supposed to have paid the city council 1.2 million, which was going to be very good for our salary payments.
Right.
So when I went to Rajwani, he produced a receipt and gave it to me that he has already paid. This was very embarrassing for me, very disastrous. So I went back to council and I convened a management meeting.
Right.
I said, look, sir, can you please ensure as director of finance, you at least give me a correct list of debtors?
Right.
Because I've taken the endeavor to try and do something. Because you know how it is at that juncture. Everyone say, pay you salary, all this kind of thing. But I'm responsible.
Sorry to intervene at this point. Um, but what I am listening now and getting from you is not in connection to my understanding, really to the memo that was written to you. And this was addressing specific issues of receipt books that were created, not the task force that you have created, etc., etc. So this is in relation to certain specific issues that were raised here. You understand? That is what we wanted you to explain. We understand. If you have any documentation that has relation to what has been raised, particularly for this memo that is dated the 10th of January 2024, did you respond to that memo?
I'll have to check because
Okay, note it down and,
yeah,
and
I'll have to check.
let us have that. If you have responded to this, we will be glad to look at your response with respect to what the Director of Finance has written to you. But we are just given 10 minutes. Can you please quickly round up because we are handing over the signal to GRT?
Okay, ma, thank you very much. Okay, I appreciate
On
yeah, I appreciate that. But now my question is, what was the basis of determining? Because when I came back to the management, we had a meeting, and it was with the management that I decided right now that all the revenue heads of the council would be given direct control over the revenue collection. As the director of finance, he will just have to supervise them because by the end of the day, we cannot have this situation and then like there's no solution to it because the recent books we're talking about all the sectional heads, revenue sectional heads have all this documentation. They have invoices, they have receipt books. So I'm not questioning what was the illegality. Because they can use it. If you look at the invoice for license, it's written down the CEO. Though I'm not in a position to sign every time for all these invoices being sent out. So the director of finance can sign it. But in the same way to the license manager or officer can also sign. So I'm not seeing illegality here. What I'm just trying to see was a cover up for trying to continue, with a system that was not favoring Council 2. But like Ma, you have said, I think I would make use of the minutes we had as a management. I'll give it to you, and then maybe that will help you to understand. But I did not see no illegality because by the end of the day, when we had no salaries to pay for 2 months, it was my responsibility. So this is why I took up the problem again with the management, and we decided as a management that we are going to do A, B, C, D, E. We are going to empower the revenue unit heads to have direct access to the revenue collection. And I did not see no illegality in that.
I believe it's time.
Stand
But still, I will be in a position to provide the minutes.
documents,
The minutes, yeah.
particularly in response to this memo that was
Yes, certainly.
and the information in relation to
Certainly.
the 1.2 that was paid
Certainly.
and was not accounted to you.
Certainly.
Mr. Batchilly is coming back after
Yes.
break for 10-15 minutes.
All
So
right.
we conclude this issue.
We may rise.